Where's my nuts? Suck my dick. Where's my nuts? Where's my nuts? Fucking hell, man. Oh my god, this is it.
And then one more.
And then, what are you doing? What are you doing? Yeah.
Yes.
Guess it's safe to say I see my time has come. I hate to make you break, but hey, I'll see you soon enough. I know it's hard and things are rough, but don't be sad. My son, remember back on Christmas Day, the day that I lost mom? You were my support, you were there, I held you close, but now I'm gone, so turn to Bridget, she's the one you need the most. But don't be sad, I know you think that it's impossible, but if you stop to think of all the things that I accomplished, you wouldn't take it hard. Michael, son, I made it far, went from being nothing, then you turned all of our lives around. You turned me to a star, you gave me life and then a car, you got me out the trailer park and then you gave your dad a house. Don't be sad, I'm gone, cause son, I'm only moving on, and soon enough I'll see you at the gates. This place is beautiful. Till then I love you all, my son. I hope your life is full of happiness and love. I know you're strong, I'm watching all of you. Say goodbye forever, but I know it's not. They say I'm gone, I'm not. I'm gonna see you soon. Goodbye, so I'm gonna see you soon. Goodbye, so I'm gonna see you soon. Tried another verse, the purpose was to ease the burn. I feel cause daddy's gone, I'm mad he's not here and it fucking hurts. I want the pain to stop, I hate this God, it's never gone. I wake up every morning with the knot, I'm so afraid he's not around to hear me talk. I reach out and I beg to God to show a sign. I move an object anywhere, just make it drop. I need to know he's not lost in time or stuck in thought. I thought that I could handle loss, but not when dad is what I lost. And so I tried to jot my thoughts down on a song as him. I lost the ones I loved the most, and so I tried to represent myself as him to help me cope. And so I guess I spent a minute getting words on paper spinning, but it's tormenting. The storm will slowly pass and time will ease the pain I have, and he will always be the voice that nags me when I'm feeling sad. And if I never have another chance to have a chat, I hope you know you raised a man, and damn, I'll always love you, Dad. Say goodbye forever, but I know it's not. They say I'm gone, I'm not. I'm gonna see you soon. Goodbye, so I'm gonna see you soon. Goodbye, so I'm gonna see you soon. How do I live? How do I breathe? No, it's not the end, but it's all that I see. Hope that I can follow your footsteps. Know that we were happy as it could get. 'Cause I can see the sky light up now. And I know that it's you. Searching by myself just to find out. I'm never lost 'cause I've got to say goodbye forever. But I know it's not. They say I'm gone, I'm not. I'm gonna see you soon. Goodbye, so I'm gonna see you soon. Goodbye, so I'm gonna see you soon.
You strangled people. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I mean, I could kill a person and just go out to dinner. I don't care.
I'm about to be shown a brand new death chamber in a prison where no one's been executed for 8 years. This is where the condemned man will have the final moments of his life. It's a clear signal that the state of Indiana fully intends to execute the 11 murderers on death row. I was here 5 years ago, but I've never been able to forget these men and their terrible crimes. And this could be my final encounter with them.
I killed a cop, right? And when I was younger, I took pride in it. Like, dudes say, that's Richie, he killed a cop. Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Mr. Bear, we meet again.
They like to call me a baby raper, child molester. And I didn't molest no child. I killed a woman and her 4-year-old daughter. And I regretfully did that.
Since my last visit, a lot has changed.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
Mr. Bear, we meet again.
They like to call me a baby raper, child molester. And I didn't molest no child. I killed a woman and her 4-year-old daughter. And I regretfully did that.
Since my last visit, a lot has changed. The prison is almost unrecognizable, caught in the grip of a rampant drugs epidemic.
There's been a number of deaths, suicides, there's been a couple of murders. I've never seen this institution like this. Just, wow.
And the latest man to arrive on death row is a serial killer. So you killed a greater number of people than the police know?
Oh, yeah. They might have a tenth of it. I'll put it that way.
You guys be safe.
Welcome back to Indiana State Prison. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning. Today, Warden Ron Neal is making his regular visit to death row.
Good morning.
Inmates here are isolated from the rest of the prison population.
Today we have 11 men here on X row. You might remember, Trevor, some of these gentlemen since you were here last. Fred Bear.
Yes, we certainly talked to him.
Right. Fred's a big talker. Obviously, he's very fond of his cat.
And Mr. Ritchie.
Yeah, Ben Ritchie.
Any new arrivals?
Mr. Gibson.
Yes.
108. And Mr. Isom at 120.
So we're heading into death row itself now.
Yeah, this is the actual cells of death row.
These men all live with the knowledge that one day they'll be told precisely when they'll die. For the time being, there's a hiatus. Manufacturers are refusing to supply the drugs for lethal injections. Should they become available again, first in line to be put to death is a man who has been on the row for 15 years, Benjamin Ritchie. When we last met, he described the mad moment that sealed his fate.
Well, my crime is shooting a police officer and killing him. You know, if that bullet would have hit just half of an inch lower, he'd be alive today. And I'd probably have a long, lengthy prison sentence, but I wouldn't be on death row, man.
Mr. Ritchie, how are you? Good. We meet again.
Yeah. It's been a while.
I wasn't quite sure whether you would be still here when we last.
I wasn't either, and it was pretty close now, right? Like I could get a date at any time, but ain't no companies, thank God, are going to sell this place any drugs. You know what I mean?
What do you think of that? Is that a source of hope for you about some change to
Hell
your?
yeah. Like I hope to go to population, like, you know.
So in the general prison population.
Yeah.
What has life been for you since I last saw you?
Shit, man. All kinds of stuff's happened to me, man. I was having sex in the visiting room.
You're not supposed to do that, though, are you?
It was worth it, though, man. It was worth it.
Really? But I mean, you knew what the consequences would be.
Yeah. I knew what I was doing. I knew a little blind spot in the zone. It was worth it. She's bad, bro. Like Victoria's Secret model type bad.
The last time we talked, you talked about relationships on the row here. How's that? How are they?
Same situation still down there with that one, you know what I mean? Like, I hate that dude so much.
You're talking about Frederick Bear?
Yeah, Susie. We call him Susie.
Why do you call him that?
Because he's like a sweet, like a Susie cube. We used to have him on commissary like a little cupcake. And he's soft like a cupcake, right? I hate him so much, but I don't want to see the prison kill that dude. I'd rather see him in population getting the shit stabbed out of him or beat up for what he did, you know what I mean?
Do you know Mr. Gibson downstairs?
Yeah, I know him. That's my old buddy. He's a...
Yeah.
Now, that's a real serial killer.
Why do you say that?
Look at his case, man. That old man's been doing it a long time, you know?
William Clyde Gibson has the perverse distinction of being the only serial killer on Indiana's death row.
In April 2012, police discovered Christine Whitus dead and mutilated in Gibson's garage. Gibson is charged with 2 other Floyd County murders, and one is a decade-old cold case.
He's a dangerous man who I believe, given the opportunity, would do this again.
He's never spoken publicly before about his conviction for killing and mutilating the bodies of 3 women.
We've got the camera crew today, Mr. Gibson. Do you have a minute to talk to these folks?
Actually, I got lots of minutes.
I was here 5 years ago, but you weren't there. I didn't meet you then. How do you get on with the other guys on the road?
There's a couple of them I could kill and wouldn't think a thing about it, but you know.
Maybe it's not wise for you to say that.
No, they know. I told them already. I mean, it's just what it is. I'm not going to lie about it.
Do you have any regrets about ending up here as you have?
No. None. I know I'm a piece of shit. I did the things I did, and I knew what I did. So, you know, it wasn't like I didn't know what was coming. I just wish they'd go on and do it.
It's a strange thing to hear people say that they're waiting to die or quite willing to speed up the process.
I'm sure when it comes right down to it, I won't want to go. You know, that's obvious.
We're around for a few days. I hope we can see you again.
Right. That'd be fine.
Thank you.
You guys have a good one.
Again, try not to kill the hostages. If this goes to shit, we'll need collateral. The guards are down.
Today, the entire prison is unusually quiet.
If there are dead bodies.
On my last visit, these recreational areas teem with prisoners.
There and get your guns on the tellers. Now, there's a second gate that will give you access to the lower level. Blow it.
Not today. The facility is on a state of high alert. The tension is palpable. So Captain Boyan escorts me to C Block, the largest cell house in the prison. Almost all the 400 inmates here are convicted murderers serving long sentences. For weeks, they've been confined to their cells for 24 hours a day. It's lunchtime, but you'd never know it. No one is allowed out.
516 is a special magistrate.
Captain, why is the prison in lockdown?
We had a string of medical emergencies. We call them Signal 3000s. And we believe it was due to overdoses on K2 or Spice, which is a synthetic marijuana.
How bad did the medical emergencies get?
At one time, we had a weekend where we had approximately 40.
40 in one weekend?
Yes.
And how long has this prison been in lockdown this day?
Currently, it's been a month.
A month?
Yes, sir. They're locked in their cells all day, except every 3 days, we will escort them to the shower to shower. But anytime they come out of their cell, they have to be handcuffed and escorted.
Hello. What's your name?
Christopher Pavey.
Christopher Pavey. And how long have you been here?
A total of 30 years.
You've been here for 30 years. And have you experienced lockdowns like these before?
In my whole entire prison sentence, there's only been one time that we've been locked down as much as we've been locked down now, and that was back in the 90s. The situation that we're going through right now, though, we've never experienced this.
Have you seen people get distressingly ill from spice?
I've seen a dude die from it.
Yeah.
Seen a guy die.
When was that?
About 4 months ago.
Pull his leg down a little bit so he's down further.
As we looked on, prison staff were called to yet another medical emergency nearby. This man would eventually be returned to his cell. There was no explanation about the cause of his seizure. But the talk of the prison is the lockdown, and to that, there is no end in sight. On death row, Frederick Bear's crimes have made him the most hated man here.
Am I a cold, sadistic murderer? Right, cut a little girl's throat. A 5-year-old girl's throat? Sure. I love kids.
I can still recall the afternoon he told me about the murders. High on drugs, he broke into the home of a mother and her 4-year-old daughter.
So I knocked on the door, and a little kid answered the door. Her mom came to the door, and my intentions was to rape her. I couldn't go through with it, but I'd already gone too far. If I killed them, nobody would never know. And so I cut their throats. I cut both of their throats.
I've never believed in the death penalty myself, and I've always been against it, and I probably still am. But when I think about what you do, I begin to understand why people feel it should be the appropriate sentence for crimes like yours. Do you understand that?
Spring, open 206.
Mr. Bear, what's happened, if I may ask, to your eye?
Things occurred, and just situation happens with, not anticipating and expecting, and something like this took place.
Everybody on this row has been convicted of murder,
yes,
of one kind or another. But you are discriminated against. For what? Because of what you did.
You heard it when you came in. Baby killer, and all the ranting and raving, and the constant being called Susie, and being attacked, and having urine squirted on you, and having spit in, and having dope, drugs, and chemicals put in your food, having semen put in your food, having bleach put in your food. That's not good. You have to understand that when you have bleach put in your food, you're not liked. Being called a baby raper from the guy who lives directly below me, and then having people believe that I'm a baby raper, in which I promised you on all that I love, I'm not a baby raper. I killed a mother and her child. Due to this situation, I'll probably have to live the rest of my life in isolation. Because I know if I go out in population, I'm a dead man.
How do you manage to cope with such rampant hostility?
It seemed like sometimes death would be a better relief.
Excuse me.
Lockdown is finally over. After 5 weeks, the prison believes it has dealt with the flow of drugs. For now. Convicts who've been confined to their cells for 24 hours a day were now free to go out into the fresh air, if only for a short time. Excuse me? I headed off to see a prisoner who may well have faced the death penalty had he not been a child when he killed 2 people. Instead, Ronald Sanford is serving a sentence of 170 years. I'll never forget our first meeting 5 years ago.
I've never been to the prom. I've never driven a car. I've never had a driver's license. I've never filed tax returns. I've never been on an airplane. I've never traveled abroad. Should I continue? My life has been lived in this prison, and it seems as though I've been in this prison so long that I've never been free.
All right, going across the road to the next alley.
Mr. Stanford.
Good afternoon.
I still see you have all your books.
Well, I have some of it. Yeah, reading is my livelihood for the most part. It's something to put your mind to. So to read and write, you have to apply yourself. You can lay down and watch TV all day. And that's how you would be.
I remember you had all these
sayings. Mandela said. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sir. From yes.
He spent 26 years in Robben Island. Here of yours. I did the first interview when he came out from Robben Island. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Grab a chair. Yeah. Have a seat.
Yeah. I find it extremely difficult to imagine you're coming into this prison at the tender age of 15.
20, 30, 40, all in prison. Yes, sir.
Do you reflect on the event that got you here, the crime that got you here?
I think about my crime every day in some manner. It's unshakable. You'll never get away from it. And I think about it all the time. I don't talk about it because I don't talk about it.
5 years ago, he explained to me how he came to murder 2 of his neighbors.
Me and a friend had basically planned to get money to go to a fair. And to do so, we were going to cut grass. And we went to a home basically, and they said they didn't want their grass cut. And rather than continue on the vein and go to the next home, we decided to push into the home, essentially.
Ronald Sanford was 13 years old in 1987. Police say Sanford tortured, beat, and then brutally stabbed 83-year-old Anna Harris and 87-year-old Julia Belmar countless times. Tonight, the deputy prosecutor said Sanford's lengthy criminal record indicates he's beyond rehabilitation.
I take the point that you don't talk about it very much, but what happened to you that day?
I was actually home alone. My mom had actually left me and went out of town with her boyfriend and left me home alone that day.
And?
The crime happened.
You say your mother had been out of town with her boyfriend. Do you in any way blame her absence?
don't blame my mom. My mom did the best she could, with what she had to raise the children. My mom was an alcoholic on welfare, she had many suitors, she was violent in her parenting, and she used the tools that she had as a parent. I really feel that I was trained to kill.
You think you were trained to kill?
Yes, sir.
How so?
My mother was a very violent person.
How does that transfer from the mother's behavior
to a
13-year-old?
Yeah.
And a double homicide.
It's easy to get to the violence if you've already been in the gas. You've been in the violence. It's easy to be violent. Children become what they see. They mimic the examples that they follow. Often my mother was fond of saying, you do what I do, you do what I say, and not what I do. Well, you should tell your child, you do what I say and you do what I do. Because I don't think you would want your child to see you do some stuff that you wouldn't want them to mimic.
How's your mother doing now?
My mother, of course, has gotten older, and she's thankfully well. Over the years, my mom has been the person who has been there for me. In fact, my mom is due to visit here tomorrow. She can't wait to see my mom.
Listen, you've always been terribly good and frank with us. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
Good to see you again. Such a Trevor outside of the place. It's good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
Oh, wow.
Last year, across the United States, 23 men were executed. At Indiana State Prison, 11 men await their execution date. After 35 days in lockdown, they've been released from their cells. They can now have 4 hours of recreation a day. They're unshackled and free to walk within the confines of death row. During this time, the area is off limits to prison staff and visitors.
So you're off lockdown now?
They're going to let us out for rec so people can call their families, because the dudes ain't talked to their families in about a month, right?
Is Mr. Bear going to come down here with you guys?
Oh, no.
Why not?
Because he'd be attacked. He'd be killed.
He's that unpopular.
Yeah.
But why?
He's got dudes' cell phones taken from